Yeah, all right. Welcome to the show. It is Wrestling Uncensored. I'm Dave Simon. He's Johnny North. WrestlingUncensored.net is the website. Talking professional wrestling with you every single week. Check us out on the YouTube channel, youtube.com/ringsidereport.net, youtube.com/ringsidereport, DOTNET. It's the place you want to be. If you're listening to this, either a podcast version or a radio show, you could watch this show as well, and you could see Johnny North flexing. Johnny North right next to me, just flexing his giant guns. Of course, Johnny North, a great professional wrestler.
Possibly a great bodybuilder, too.
Yeah, you're a pretty good bodybuilder. You're pretty jacked, so you got that going for you.
I saw Fred and AJ doing it on Ringside Report. I'm like,
were they flexing?
They were trying to. I'm like, well, I better show them how to flex.
So there you go. If you want to watch more of the shows, be it Ringside Report, the MMA show, be it Dave and Johnny Live, where we talked about the G1, New Japan Pro Wrestling has a big tournament coming up, and we broke that thing down at length on the latest episode of Dave and Johnny Live, which you can catch right now on the YouTube channel at youtube.com/ringsidereport.net. You go there, you like the video, you subscribe to the channel, and you click that little bell so that every time there's new content on the channel, you get an alert, and there you are, and there you have it, and you can watch everything we do.
It's quite fantastic.
Including our WWE Stomping Grounds post-show, the recap show. I'll be back here right after WWE Stomping Grounds on YouTube to recap everything that happened at the pay-per-view. But this show right here, this will be Wrestling Uncensored, the Stomping Grounds preview show. We're here to break down Stomping Grounds, and we are here to recap a little bit what happened on Raw and SmackDown, the final shows leading in to this pay-per-view Sunday night Stomping Grounds in Tacoma, Washington, where tickets have not sold very well. I went on Ticketmaster to see for myself. You read things on the internet, but you got to double check. You can't just really believe, oh, Stomping Grounds having trouble selling tickets. I said, really? Let's see what I could do. I could buy tickets in the second row on the floor from Ticketmaster a couple days ago.
That's amazing for pay-per-view.
Not good. Not good for Stomping Grounds. They're going to need a lot of seat fillers to fill that arena. It's going to be empty. And it's really their own fault because they haven't given us a very strong card. The WWE continuing their downward spiral.
I find this is always the downward spiral of WWE every season, really, when you think about it. After WrestleMania, until you get to SummerSlam, it's always not that great.
Well, it's particularly bad this year, I think.
Well, we're done Money in the Bank. Money in the Bank's really the only highlight in between this, so yeah.
And what have they done with Money in the Bank? They gave it to Brock Lesnar. Are we seeing Brock Lesnar? Has he cashed in? Is he threatening to cash in? Absolutely not. Is Paul Heyman around threatening that Brock is going to cash in? Yes, that's what's going on. We're seeing Heyman. Heyman was on Raw. Heyman was on SmackDown. Where's Brock?
Taking his usual time off.
And that's what they're doing. They're continuing to bait and switch us with Brock Lesnar. That's what the WWE's business model seems to be. Brock Lesnar is going to for sure cash in his Money in the Bank on Monday Night Raw. Tune in. We tune in. And he doesn't.
He says Friday.
He says Friday at the Super Showdown in Saudi Arabia. We tune in. He doesn't.
Well, he got stopped, though. That's what he says.
Okay. The WWE is advertising something to happen. It's not happening. What do you call that?
Bait and switch?
Right. So they're doing that. And now they're continuing to do that. They're trying to sell Stomping Grounds this way. They're saying tune into Stomping Grounds because Seth Rollins may get attacked and Brock Lesnar might show up and beat him for the Universal title. Because Seth Rollins, I think, is headlining this show, defending his Universal title against Baron Corbin in a match with a special referee that is unknown. It is a mystery ref.
I don't feel this is going to be the main event, but I get why you think it would be.
Well, they've spent the majority of their TV time focusing on this and only this.
This and Roman Reigns and Drew McIntyre.
Okay, which we'll get to as well. I guess it's related because Shane McMahon is pretty much involved in everything.
Right.
He's getting himself involved in this. He's friends with Baron Corbin. He's given Corbin all the advantages. And Corbin has been on a search for a referee, right?
He tried. Failed.
So Baron Corbin is looking to find a special guest referee for his match with Seth Rollins. He's trying to find someone that is going to help him win the Universal title, right? A heel, a bad guy. So Raw begins with Elias in the ring, running down Los Angeles, talking about how there's smog and it's dirty and he hates LA. Very cheap heat, boring heel stuff. And he takes off his shirt to reveal a referee shirt. And he says, I, Elias, will be the special referee in Baron Corbin versus Seth Rollins at Stomping Grounds. And then Seth Rollins shows up, attacks Elias with a steel chair, leaves him laying, and warns anyone that decides to take Baron up on his offer that he will hit them with a steel chair. Threatens everybody.
He's a face. Why not?
Sure. Makes sense. Elias is a bad guy. He was trying to do bad things to Seth. Okay, I get that. It continues, though, over the next 2 shows for the WWE. You have Seth Rollins continuing all this. Paul Heyman showed up eventually. He says, I won't be the special referee. Seth Rollins, please do not attack me. By the way, Seth Rollins, you're a total coward and you're afraid to face Brock on your own. That's why you have a steel chair, because you're scared.
He's right.
He's right. Didn't make Seth look very good, right? Heyman just made Seth look bad. And then Heyman says, well, Brock might show up tonight or Sunday or Monday. And then he leaves the ring. So still we have no answers about Brock. And then Seth Rollins wrestles Daniel Bryan in the main event, which I was excited about.
Me too.
They built the match well. They talked about how they haven't wrestled in 4 years, how Seth Rollins has never beat Daniel Bryan. As soon as they started saying that, I was like, okay, well, here's where they put Seth over Daniel Bryan.
Not right away, though.
That's what it felt like, right? It was like, well, as soon as they said, oh, Seth's never beat him, I was like, oh, well, here's where he beats him. Right? Because Daniel Bryan's a tag team champion on SmackDown, and Seth is kind of the face of the WWE right now. So you get it. So Seth and Bryan have a match. Rowan just hits his face palm choke slam on Rollins immediately. Like, the match barely happens.
Right.
New Day shows up. They come and help Seth. Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn and the Revival show up to kind of even the odds. I thought we were going to have a giant tag team match because that's what it seemed like. That's what usually Raw does, right?
Makes sense.
But they didn't go that direction, which I was happy about. The Usos show up. They join the brawl. The New Day and the Usos team up. They take everyone out.
Yep.
And I thought, okay, maybe you have 6-on-6, New Day and the Usos and Seth against a bunch of guys, and that's what you do. But no, they're like, okay, the match is restarted and everybody's banned from ringside. So now it's like, okay, we're going to have a real match. Seth and Bryan have a decent match. Seth hits the stomp on Daniel Bryan. I didn't like how long it took him to cover Bryan after the stomp. I don't think it made Bryan look very good. Like, Seth hits the stomp and, like, falls over, and then he's down for, like, a good while before he crawls over to Bryan and counts 1, 2, 3. Bryan was down for, like, a 10 count. So I don't always like that. It didn't really protect Daniel Bryan very much in the finish, but that's, I guess, nitpicking for me as a guy that thinks Daniel Bryan should still be on top of the company because he's the best guy there, but whatever. And then Baron Corbin attacks Seth with the chair after the match, right? So that's what we saw on Raw from Seth. By the way, speaking of Daniel Bryan, the interview that he did in the gorilla position before the match with Seth I thought was really good, saying that Seth Rollins without a chair in the ring is not a better wrestler than Daniel Bryan.
Obviously.
Yeah, but that was interesting. You know, it's not something that you say in every single promo. Daniel Bryan made sure to tell the audience that he is still better than Seth Rollins. And I'm watching that going, yeah. You tell him, D-Bry. You tell him. And then Bryan says Seth has never and will never beat him, which, of course, changed in the main event.
Well, Seth is the Universal Champion. Daniel Bryan, albeit Tag Team Champion, it's a lower championship than the Universal, and you're trying to put over Seth Rollins as one of the top guys in all of WWE. So he needs that victory in a sense. And I don't feel like him beating Daniel Bryan with the curb stomp, like taking his time. I think that was fine because like I felt like, oh my God, Daniel Bryan just took like a head bump, and we all know about him and concussions. I'd be worried for Daniel Bryan.
Yeah, I didn't really see it that way. I don't think that curb stomp's that dangerous. I don't think it's that rough of a move.
It's all how you take it, obviously.
I guess I just didn't like how long it took Seth to crawl over and pin him, but whatever. It's not a big deal, right? Of all the things that WWE does, this was fine, okay? Hulk Hogan on a Twitter video talking about the Women's World Cup team wiping Chile off the map on Raw. I thought that was more bizarre. What was that?
Well, they're doing this thing where they're promoting all the superstars, giving their predictions for the World Cup. So I guess there's some sort of cross-promotion going on.
It was weird to see Hulk Hogan just there on Raw, like in a little videos, like talking about soccer. Like, what? What are you doing? What is this? Bizarre. So then on SmackDown, the Seth Rollins, Baron Corbin thing continued. And this is one of the major problems with SmackDown. It's just the leftovers of Raw.
That's how it used to be.
It's not an original show. It's just the Raw remains. And what you have on Raw isn't even that good to begin with. So Shelton Benjamin and the B team are standing outside Baron Corbin's office. Baron Corbin has an office for some reason.
On Raw, on SmackDown.
On SmackDown. Baron Corbin is still interviewing people to be the special referee in his match.
Because all of them got taken out on Raw.
Because they all got beat up on Raw. Well, who else was there?
EC3.
Oh, yeah, EC3. Right, we forgot about all that stuff. So Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn host the KO and Sami Zayn show on Raw with Baron Corbin as the guest, right?
Right.
KO and Sami announced that they have withdrawn their application to be the special ref because Seth is too dangerous with the chair. They're like, look, we're smart guys. We're not going to do this. Sorry, Baron, but you're on your own. We're not going to be the ref. Smart.
Yep.
Good. I like that. That made sense to me. Corbin says, that's cool. EC3 is the special referee. EC3 comes out. Seth Rollins just beats him senseless with the chair. The New Day show up, and Sammy's like, hey, you're not a wild card. You shouldn't be here at all. So somebody's paying attention to the wild card rule, but like, whatever. But then Kofi's like, I'm the WWE champ, which means I go where I want, whenever I want. I don't know if that's a rule or it's just something Kofi said. I'm not really sure. Nothing's clear at this point with the wild card rules.
I think there was like 6 or 7 SmackDown stars, I think, on Raw.
Raw, yeah. It started to be like 4, and now it's like however many. It doesn't really matter. Anybody can show up on any show, whatever.
I like it like this, actually. I don't mind this. I like the fact that you can pretty much see anyone on any show at any time. It makes it more unpredictable.
Yeah, I guess. But it's also like it causes the same talent to be used on both shows, and it causes a lot of talent that could be developed and could be used in smaller roles and then made into bigger stars. They just don't exist in this world anymore. When Shane McMahon and Drew McIntyre and Baron Corbin are all over TV, there's just no room for anybody else. Why is Chad Gable taking notes every time he sees Apollo Crews? I don't know. Why don't we see Aleister Black in the ring? I don't know. Why was the only time we saw the Kabuki Warriors, Asuka and Kairi Sane and Paige, why was the only time we saw them this week in a backstage promo challenging the Iconics to a match on a non-televised show in Japan where if they win, then they get a tag team title shot? And we haven't seen them wrestle for like a month. Basically, since they debuted, they've been disappeared. Why don't we have Asuka or Kairi Sane, two of the best wrestlers the WWE has today? Why are they not used on SmackDown? Well, because Shane McMahon needs 2 promos, pal. We need them on Raw and on SmackDown That's the only way we're going to beat that Cody Rhodes and AEW and Lenny Omega and all those guys and the Young Boys or whatever. Who are these guys? Who's Lenny Omega?
Plus, the Iconics wrestled on Raw, so they had a title defense against Alexa Bliss and Nikki Cross. So
Right.
it's too much for them to wrestle again.
No, but where's Kyrie and Asuka? Where have they been? Where are they? Come on.
Or they're just going to wrestle like enhancement talent? I mean, that's all they would do because there's really no other tag teams on SmackDown.
So instead we get like 3 Miz matches like we got last week? What was so good on SmackDown that we needed to see? A 10-minute Dolph Ziggler promo? What are you talking about here? What is this? We needed to watch Heavy Machinery against the B team? That was necessary?
I think that was like a number one contenders match, actually. So, yeah.
Was it? I think it was just a match.
But it made it official afterwards that Heavy Machinery got the tag title shot.
Oh, boy, Johnny North. Why are you defending this garbage?
There was a rhyme and reason to some things that happened.
Okay, well, explain this to me then. Okay?
Uh-oh.
So Seth Rollins, he beats up EC3. He beats up Elias on Raw. Does he beat anybody else up with a chair? No.
Eric Young.
Eric Young. Right. Eric Young was like maybe thinking about doing it, but then Eric Young's like, no, I'm probably not going to be the referee. Right?
Yeah.
So Seth is like, cool, we've been friends for a long time, Eric Young. I trust that you wouldn't backstab me like that. Cool, we're friends, Eric Young. I'm with you. And Eric Young's like, cool, Seth. Cool, I'll talk to you later. Eric Young walks away, and Seth Rollins just hits him in the back with a chair. Why?
Because that's what Seth does. He did it to Roman.
He's a jerk.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, he did it to Roman, but he was turning heel at the time. He's supposed to be the top babyface on Raw. I don't want the guy who hit poor old Eric Young with a chair to beat Brock Lesnar. I'm rooting for the Beast to end you, you know? I don't feel like Seth should have hit the B team with a chair. The B team were only thinking about becoming Baron Corbin's referee because they just wanted some TV time. Like, they cut a promo, they're there with Shelton Benjamin backstage, and they're talking to Shelton, and they're like, well, we know what happens, you know, with Seth Rollins and everything, but, like, we're not really on TV much, so it'd be really good if maybe we could get on Stomping Ground somehow. Like, how sad, you know? You just feel bad for them. And then, so they're thinking about that, and then Seth Rollins, after the B team loses to Heavy Machinery, they don't cheat, nothing. The B team just loses to them. Seth Rollins shows up and then beats them up with a steel chair. Because Seth Rollins is just a jerk. He's the worst guy. You can't get behind Seth Rollins. And he's ruining Becky Lynch. Becky Lynch, by association, is being brought down by Seth Rollins. She's less over because they keep reminding you subtly on Raw, or not so subtly, that Becky Lynch and Seth Rollins in real life are a couple. And they seem very excited about that. How come we don't see so many interactions between Charlotte and Andrade on SmackDown? How come it's always like, oh, wink, wink, Becky and Seth, but Charlotte and Andrade, it's like, no, they're not together.
Well, Andrade, he has Zelina Vega with him. So it kind of ruins that story. Like, why
couldn't they join together, join forces? They're all heels.
It's like with Lana and Rusev. Remember when Lana was with Ziggler, but then like Lana posted the thing like, oh, we're getting married? That kind of killed the story.
Yeah.
So that's why with Charlotte and Andrade, it would kill the Andrade and
Seth isn't doing Becky Lynch any favors, is my point.
Well, they're not doing Becky any favors by not giving her quality opponents when you think about it. Just Lacey Evans all the time. No offense to Lacey Evans, but it doesn't help Becky. It helps Lacey.
Why did Seth have to beat up the B team? They weren't going to be the referee.
Because Seth Rollins is a jerk. And
he's just a jerk.
Yeah, exactly.
He's not a guy that you get behind. I don't like Seth Rollins as a character. I don't understand how they're supposed to build this guy as a babyface when he's just a total jerk. At least Roman Reigns helps out his friends.
Well, and he also takes care of business, too. He'll go up to your face and then beat you up.
Hell yeah, big dog.
Yeah,
he doesn't need a chair.
Exactly.
Roman doesn't need a chair. Roman's ready to whoop on you because it's his yard.
That's what he did on Raw.
Oh, boy. Oh, boy. So, Seth versus Baron at the grounds that stomp. Seth isn't losing the title here.
But who's the ref, though?
Well, that's the big question. That's really the reason to watch. Shane?
Shane's top choice, I think, yeah.
Brock?
I don't think so.
My choice was Ronald Truth. I thought it would be funny if he became a referee as he holds a 24/7 title. He could kind of play with that somehow. Like somebody could try to pin him and he could be like, no, I'm the referee. You know, turn the match into a total joke. It's already a joke anyways, like Baron Corbin wrestling for the title. Really? Baron Corbin's awful. Every time I see Baron Corbin on TV, I want to turn it off. So, like, it's already a joke. Why not put R-Truth in there and just make it a complete joke? Who cares? It's Stomping Grounds. Who cares? It's Stomping Grounds. It's the December to Dismember of the WWE. This pay-per-view might put them out of business. I mean, it won't, but it's, you know, they're already on such a downward turn. Everything is going so poorly for the company as far as the creative and the ratings and everything. Another terrible rating for SmackDown this week. This pay-per-view is looking awful. Attendance is going to be awful. This is going to be a landmark if the WWE does go out of business eventually. Like, this will be a moment where they'll point to and they'll say, you know, Stomping Grounds. That's where it started. That's where everything really went wrong. When Baron and Seth had that match and, like, Heath Slater was the referee, yeah, that was really bad.
We're just coming off Super Showdown, which you thought was like one of the worst pay-per-views we've seen in a long time.
Yeah, and Goldberg and Undertaker wrestled, and it was a debacle. I mean, that also could be pointed at as like, oh, yeah, remember that? That was the beginning of the end.
So, yeah, we're just going to have another bad pay-per-view? Because that's what it sounds like, what you're saying. So, it just continues a trend.
Oh, I'm sorry. Did you think it was going to be a good pay-per-view?
It has potential. There are some matches I'm looking forward to be honest.
Yeah, well, me too, but I like pro wrestling. But, like, for the most part, come on now. I want to see Ricochet and Samoa Joe. It's going to be a very good match for the U.S. title, for sure. Ricochet's great.
Mm-hmm.
You know, whatever he does in his spare time, that's his own business. Respect to him. Him and Samoa Joe, cool. U.S. title match. The New Day, Big E and Xavier Woods against Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn. It's kind of a nothing match. It's not for anything, but those are four excellent wrestlers, two excellent teams. I think it'll be good.
I hope it's on the main show, not the pre-show.
Tony Nese, Akira Tozawa, and Drew Gulak. I think is going to be a really good triple threat for the Cruiserweight title. I think that'll be awesome. Don't really know what the story is going into it. Don't know who's a heel, who's a babyface, or nothing. Because, you know, no one watches 205 Live. But, you know, I'm happy to see it because I'm sure those guys will have a great match because I know they're good wrestlers.
All you really need to know is that Tozawa and Gulak won a 5-way at the same time. So that's why it's a triple threat. That's all you need to know.
Kofi Kingston and Dolph Ziggler in a steel cage for the WWE title could be good, but I've seen Kofi and Ziggler wrestle so much, I don't expect Dolph Ziggler to beat Kofi Kingston at all for the WWE title. Like, I'm not that hyped for the match. I know the finish is going to be Kofi winning, and that's really where I stand. Like, I don't think the match is going to be a classic blow-your-mind type of performance, and you know, Trouble in Paradise 1, 2, 3, or Kofi escapes the cage, or whatever it is, Kofi wins. By the way, traditionally a steel cage match where one guy has like a crew that you're trying to keep out of the cage, like that's kind of what Ziggler's doing. He's like, you're nothing without New Day, and I'm going to make sure that I have you to myself, Kofi Kingston, because I want you in a steel cage. And, you know, New Day did kind of help. Didn't Woods help Kofi win the last match? Like he distracted Ziggler at Super Showdown?
Yeah.
So it's weird to me that Kofi's the babyface in all this. Like, this is how you build your babyfaces. They're jerks like Seth Rollins, and they attack everybody with a steel chair, even when they're really sad jobbers that don't really deserve it, like Eric Young or the B-Team. Like, they're just trying to get some TV time, man. Well, you got to hit them with a chair. So that's how you build your top babyface on Raw, and your top babyface on SmackDown. You build him by being the guy who took everything away from Dolph Ziggler, who cheated to beat Dolph Ziggler at Super Showdown, who needs to be locked in a cage with Dolph Ziggler at Stomping Grounds so that his team, the New Day, won't interfere on his behalf. That's how the WWE builds their cheating, lying, cowardly, stupid, evil, jerky, heel baby faces.
Okay.
What are they doing?
Okay, you're looking at this through Dolph Ziggler's eyes, it seems like, because what happened in Super Showdown.
No, I'm looking at it from a traditional wrestling perspective. When one guy has a group and the other guy is by himself, and you have to keep the group out of the steel cage, traditionally, the guy who's got the group that keeps cheating is the heel. Remember NXT with Adam Cole and his whole crew? They had to put him in a steel cage because his team kept cheating.
Okay, but what happened at Super Showdown...
It's basic wrestling 101, dude.
But Ziggler attacked Xavier. He provoked Xavier to interfere. Xavier did nothing up to that point until, out of nowhere, Ziggler decided to attack Xavier on the outside. That's the only reason why Xavier interfered in the match.
But Xavier still interfered in the match and cost Ziggler the match. Like, he still cheated on behalf of Kofi Kingston.
But because he was provoked, that's why.
Okay, John, fine, I guess. But, like, you understand my point, how they're not really building Kofi to be a good babyface. Like, they don't build anybody properly. They don't build their babyfaces correctly. Seth and Kofi are not likable characters.
I find Kofi is very likable. He stepped up. He had the challenge by Ziggler right away, gave him the rematch, gave him the match that he wanted. Seth, not so much, but that's Seth's character. That's the way he's always been. That stays true to who he always has been. Kofi's all about being the best champion that he could be. He said that from day one. The fact that he has backup, it's just the way it is.
But Kofi always wins. Like, he's pretty strong on his own. He doesn't need the backup, and it just doesn't make a lot of sense that this is the story going into the match, that Dolph Ziggler needs to put Kofi in the cage so that he can have him one-on-one and the New Day won't interfere. That's what Dolph keeps talking about in his promos. That last forever and are really repetitive. Well, Dolph and Kofi were both in the mid-card, and Kofi ascended to be WWE champion, and he had this big moment at WrestleMania, and Dolph never had that, and he feels that it should have been him. Like, that's the other story that they're doing in this match, and that's not bad, but the other stuff, it's like, yeah, it doesn't really add up. And also the fact that Dolph is here out of nowhere, like he was gone off TV, and then all of a sudden, well, they need him for Super Showdown, and let's just do the rematch at Stomping Grounds. This isn't going to last for very long, so Dolph is probably either on his way out after this or on to other things in WWE or whatever. He's not going to become WWE champion. It's just not his time. So there's nothing for me in this match. There's nothing that says, yeah, I need to see this.
Well,
Kofi wins, Trouble in Paradise 1, 2, 3. That's my prediction. That's been the finish for all of Kofi's matches since he won the title.
But they've been exciting to watch for the most part. And usually Ziggler and Kofi, It's exciting to watch. It's good back and forth action.
I like when the New Day talks. I don't like when Kofi's opponents start talking. It's kind of like, ugh. Like the opening promo on SmackDown. Good with the New Day, bad with Dolph Ziggler.
Well, the talking's all done when we get to the pay-per-view.
Yeah.
The talking was just to hype up the pay-per-view.
Also, like, what did Sammy and Kevin do?
What are you talking about?
Like, they wrestled Seth and Kofi in the main event of SmackDown in a 2 out of 3 falls match.
Raw was the same thing.
And they lost 2 straight falls. They didn't even get 1 fall. And the first fall was like Kofi hitting Trouble in Paradise on Sammy and 1, 2, 3 as soon as the match started. He kicked him once and pinned him, and that was it. 1 fall. And then they won again when Seth hit the curb stomp on Kevin Owens. So both Sammy and Kevin took a fall. Both Kofi and Seth got 1, and neither Kofi nor Seth lost at any point.
Well, I think that was the point. Kofi got 1, Seth got 1. Both champions looked very strong going into the pay-per-view.
Kevin and Sammy losing constantly. A lot of matches, a lot of wrestling, but like they're just taking the falls constantly.
But Kevin and Sammy, for the most part, they're still feuding with New Day. And if you feud with New Day, more than likely you're going to get a shot at Kofi Kingston. I could definitely see either Sammy or Kevin next pay-per-view against Kofi.
Well, Kevin did say that he is going to take the title from Kofi Kingston the next chance he gets. But then Kofi Kingston did remind him that you got a chance of Money in the Bank and you lost. So
I think a win over Xavier and Big E.
Yeah.
I think that's going to help a lot.
They need that win because Sammy and Kevin keep losing to the New Day. They not only lost that tag team match to Seth and Kofi on SmackDown, they also lost a 6-man against all of the New Day with Baron Corbin teaming with them. Corbin accidentally clotheslining Sami Zayn. Good one, Baron. And then KO took exception to that. He pushes Corbin. Sammy and KO decide to leave the match, which I like. I like that they're not Baron Corbin's lackeys. You know, they're their own men, which is very rare in WWE. And then Corbin took a Trouble in Paradise to lose. So not only is Corbin not believable in beating Seth Rollins, he's also losing to Kofi on the Raw going into the big title match. So come on now. Baron Corbin. Who's going to be the ref, though, John? We've basically figured out that, Kofi's going to win. Seth is going to win. But what do? Like, who is your best bet for the referee? Who do you think it's really going to be? I'm not sure. I could see the WWE being super lazy and being like, yeah, it's Elias.
I think
Elias said it was going to be him on Raw. Seth attacked him with a chair, but, like, he's recovered. It's 6 days later. It's Elias. Because, Elias is just there. He's there with Shane and Drew, and they're doing their thing. He just kind of hangs around. He's not booked for Stomping Grounds. And he's like a jobber that Seth could punch and kick and knock out of the ring real easy and then deal with Baron himself. And then another ref comes down and boom, boom, everything's fine.
Well, we're not counting Shane because Shane seems too obvious, right?
Well, Shane, I think, is going to be involved with Drew and Roman because Drew is wrestling Roman.
I think the most intriguing person to put in all this would be AJ Styles. AJ was on TV this week, didn't wrestle. I guess they're letting him have some time off right now. But AJ, to me, makes it most interesting because, like, would he help Seth win or would he just call it right down the middle?
I think AJ's too big of a star to be the referee in this thing.
I think AJ is the next opponent for Seth Rollins. I think they're going to do that match again, and I think he just makes perfect sense to be in that match.
Well, how is AJ the next opponent for Seth Rollins if he helps him beat Baron Corbin at Stomping Grounds?
Calls it right down the middle. That's it.
But still calls it for Seth.
Well, that's just the way it turned out, and then he wrestles Baron, number one contenders match, and beats Baron and wrestles Seth at Extreme Rules.
I mean, I guess AJ Styles would make sense. I'm going with Elias.
It's not fun, but okay.
AJ Styles has a little deal with Carl Anderson and Luke Gallows this week on Raw that upset me.
What?
Well, so AJ Styles is like, you guys, what happened to you guys? You guys in Japan, you guys were awesome. You guys in WWE suck. You guys are joking around all the time. You made a lot of money in the company, but you haven't done much. You're losing all your matches.
It's true.
Impress me. I'm AJ Styles. So AJ's like, it's time to get serious, boys. And the Good Brothers, they're like, all right, AJ, you want to see us get serious? Watch this. We're going to wrestle the Usos. We're going to be real serious. And then they wrestle the Usos, and they lose real quick. Not a long match. Double super kick on Gallows. 1, 2, 3. Usos win. Didn't even seem like a tough win for the Usos. So after all that, after AJ calls them losers, after AJ says used to be good and now not so much, just lose to the Usos. Come on, beat the Usos. What's the problem? You can't beat the Usos once in a while? Gallows and Anderson, what's the deal?
To be fair, the Usos are a really good tag team. Arguably the best tag team right now in WWE.
Yes, but they're established and over. How do you get over other teams you need to get over? Have them beat teams that are already over. Usos aren't a tag team champions. What's the problem here? Let's go. Why do you have this little promo with Gallows and Anderson embarrassing them about how they never win and how they're not a serious tag team, and then you just prove the point by having them lose to the Usos? It's like double embarrassment. What's the point?
Well, there's rumors that they're leaving the company, so maybe this is the end storyline for them.
You know what's great is that they're teaming with AJ Styles and Triple H in like an 8-man when they go to Japan next week. And they'll definitely win that match. But you know what's going to help them win, right? They can only win because, they win with Triple H. You guys are losers except when you team with me.
I imagine he gets the winning pinfall, of course.
Yeah, him or AJ.
Well, just pedigree. It just seems more like a point finale.
Pedigree into like a flippy thing, maybe?
Maybe. I don't know. Because that'll be AJ's first match back, right? They might limit him.
I don't know. We're not previewing the Japan card. They're going to Japan next week for 2 shows next weekend on the, the 28th and 29th, I think, of June. WWE going to Tokyo. And they'll be in the Ryogoku Arena next Friday and Saturday. And they'll be in Singapore this Thursday. So they're going on a little bit of an Asian excursion. Is the WWE coming up this week after Stomping Grounds. We got a lot more Stomping Grounds to get to. We got to take a short pause here on the radio side. We have Samoa Joe versus Ricochet. Does Ricochet win his first championship in the WWE? Bayley and Alexa Bliss, I think, is a pretty big match, and they had an interesting promo this week. We'll get to that and the rest of the Stomping Grounds when we come back. It's Wrestling Uncensored. All right, welcome back. It is Wrestling Uncensored. I'm Dave Simon. He is Johnny North. WrestlingUncensored.net is the website. Every week we bring you Wrestling Uncensored, the best in professional wrestling, on the radio, online. We're on, of course, WrestlingUncensored.net. You can check out our brand new website, new look this week that just launched. And you can also go to the YouTube channel where you can subscribe to the channel. You can like the video. You can leave a comment. You can watch Wrestling Uncensored. You can watch Ringside Report, the MMA show. You can watch the post-show, the post-Stomping Grounds show that I'll be doing right after Stomping Grounds on Sunday night. So definitely subscribe to the YouTube channel and check that out. There's always new content on the YouTube channel. Dave and Johnny live this week. Johnny and I talked about some New Japan Professional Wrestling, the G1. We also talked about the Ricochet controversy, which, because we're on the radio, not only on YouTube, we can't really talk about. On YouTube, we can get away with a little bit more. It's more lenient, a lot more, actually, on YouTube. But on the radio, we got to be a little bit careful. So this show is on YouTube, but it's also on the radio, so I didn't really want to tackle the whole Ricochet sex tape controversy on this show.
I don't know if sex tape was the right word.
Well, whatever it is, we talked about it. We talked about what it was on Dave and Johnny Live, and you could go check that out on our YouTube channel. Warning, not for children. It was explicit. It's kind of crazy. But Ricochet, we could talk about him here. He won a fatal 5-way on Monday Night Raw, beating The Miz, Braun Strowman, Cesaro, and Bobby Lashley to earn a U.S. title shot against Samoa Joe at Stomping Grounds. Ricochet hit the 630 splash on The Miz to win. Braun Strowman eliminated Cesaro. Strowman eliminated Bobby Lashley. And then Ricochet eliminated Braun Strowman after Cesaro came back from elimination to hit Strowman with a pretty impressive neutralizer.
Yep.
Picking him up for his little slam move that he does. And then Lashley and Cesaro held Strowman down to help Ricochet beat him. Not sure why they were so adamant that Ricochet wins, other than, Strowman just eliminated them from the match, but kind of weird. And Samoa Joe was watching ringside and attacked Ricochet after the match, but Ricochet fought back, and Joe wasn't able to beat him up or choke him out or anything like that. This match at Stomping Grounds, at least on paper, should be match of the night. Don't know if it will be, but I expect it to be a solid wrestling effort. Samoa Joe and Ricochet, two of the best talents on Monday Night Raw. Very, very good in the ring. Ricochet has got some really cool moves. Samoa Joe is one of the most sound performers that the WWE has. This is a great U.S. title match.
I don't know about you, but the match I look forward to the most on Raw is when Ricochet comes out and wrestles. Those, to me, are the most exciting matches right now.
I like Ricochet. I like Cesaro on Raw. I'm trying to come up with some people that I enjoy on Raw, and it's really tough. Anytime Kevin and Sammy are out there, it's good. I mean, New Day's out there quite a bit, so that's good. Hey, Daniel Bryan was on Raw this week, so I don't know. You talk about Raw, anybody's on Raw. Daniel Bryan main evented Raw. I like when he's on Raw. I like when he's on SmackDown. I like when he's doing anything. His match with Seth was good. His commentary during the Heavy Machinery Jobber match there, or the B-Team match that they had on SmackDown, his commentary was excellent. Daniel Bryan is the best thing going, and, you know, some people disagree with me, but that's okay. They can be wrong. He's the best.
Well, on a regular basis on Raw, I always look forward to the Ricochet match, and I'm really looking forward to what he does on pay-per-view, because I thought he had a great showing at Money in the Bank, and I look forward to seeing what he can do now.
I don't know if this is the biggest match of his career, but it's one of them.
A match with Samoa Joe, just imagine how that's going to be.
For a title in the WWE. Like, it's for the U.S. title. It's not the main title, but it's a pay-per-view match, one-on-one against Samoa Joe for a championship. Like, this is a big match for Ricochet.
Well, you just think of terms of...
And he's had a big week.
The Styles clash, too. Not AJ Styles, the move, but just to see these two guys against each other, it's quite unique. And to me, it's one of the most intriguing matches, I think, all year in WWE.
I like it. Who do you think wins?
I think Joe, because Joe losing at the last pay-per-view, and then they had to give the title back to him. I think they're going to give Joe a decent run now. But I think Ricochet, without question, is going to have an amazing showing, as he always does.
If they wanted to give the title to Rey Mysterio, but he had to drop the title because he's hurt.
Right.
Wouldn't it make sense to give it to Ricochet, who's kind of a Mysterio type?
It's not a bad idea. It's not wrong. It's not the wrong idea.
Because, like, Joe held the U.S. title for a while, and the plan was, I think, to take it off of him and put it on Rey.
I think so.
So Joe gets it back. Put it on Rey. Like, Samoa Joe right now, I think, is wasted with the U.S. title. He's on Raw. Why is he not facing Seth Rollins for the Universal title? Why are we watching Baron Corbin? Like, it should be Joe. Maybe, like you say, AJ Styles, but I don't know. Maybe AJ and Joe need to have a match to settle it and figure out who the number one contender is. Wouldn't that be nice on this pay-per-view?
Well, I just feel Strowman's going to be the guy to beat Joe, because I kind of hinted at that a couple of times, and I feel like eventually that's going to be the big match, possibly SummerSlam, or maybe Extreme Rules, who knows? But I feel like they're going in that direction, so I feel Ricochet, they just want to get people to buy the pay-per-view, and they realize they need a good match, and Ricochet right now is producing some of the best matches in WWE.
I don't think you should build Strowman to be the guy to beat Joe. I don't think it's necessary. At this point with Strowman, like, the U.S. title isn't going to help anything.
It gives him something to do.
He doesn't need it. He's Braun Strowman. He's got something to do. Give people these hands.
Well, I think...
You're going to get these hands. He's not even booked.
Not for this one, because he didn't win the match, right?
What kind of show is this when Baron Corbin's on it and, like, so many people aren't? My goodness. Baron Corbin and Seth Rollins. How is that even happening? So you think Joe wins? I'm going to go with Ricochet. I think Ricochet might win it here. I think it would make sense. I'd like to see Ricochet win it. It would elevate him. He needs it. And he's had a rough week. You know, give him a title. You know, give him a belt. Make him feel better. You know, I'm sure it would make him happier. Like, I'm sure it would put a cap to this week, or it'd be like, all right, it's been rough, but, like, WWE believes in me. I'm the U.S. champion. Let's go.
Well,
I feel bad for him. Like, he had that video leak out. It would be nice if he got a title.
They put you on pay-per-view. I think they believe in you. Only a few people can get on the pay-per-views right now.
Give him a belt. Give him the U.S. title. Who cares? It's the U.S. title. It doesn't mean anything anyways. So, how about titles that don't mean anything? The SmackDown Tag Team titles, held by Daniel Bryan and Rowan. Daniel Bryan, of course, from the state of Washington. WWE doing this pay-per-view in Tacoma, Washington. Raw will be in Everett, Washington. SmackDown in Portland, Oregon. So I'm assuming Daniel Bryan will be in Everett for Raw and likely Portland for SmackDown.
I don't think he'll be wrestling Raw. He'll probably appear, but
He might. It's in Washington. Like, I don't know. I would use Daniel Bryan every time I'm in Washington. He sells tickets.
I agree with the appearance, but wrestling?
Like, they use Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn when they come to Montreal. They promote them. They use them. They tell you that they're going to do something, you know? And then for this pay-per-view in Washington, in Tacoma, Daniel Bryan and Rowan teaming with, going up against Heavy Machinery. It's like they just announced it. It's kind of a nothing match. No wonder they're having trouble selling tickets. Maybe if you promoted Daniel Bryan a little bit better, you'd have a sold-out arena. Maybe you'd be making some money because Daniel Bryan sells tickets, especially in his home state. What are you guys doing? What is the WWE doing? Vince, Triple H, Stephanie, I know you listen, and I hope you watch the show now too, because I know Stephanie was a listener, but I hope she's made the transition over to YouTube and is watching us as well because, you know, she needs to see us, John. She needs to see how jacked you are so she can sign you, right? But what are we doing here? Are we trying to sell tickets? Is this the wrestling business or not? Last I heard, you're having trouble selling tickets. You push the local guy. That's like basic wrestling. Wrestling 101. Like, things that have worked for over a century in professional wrestling seem to be foreign concepts to the current WWE management. And they should know more than anyone else. Vince knows this stuff better than anyone. Maybe he's forgetting it. I don't know.
Well, you and I both predicted this was going to happen. I'm sure a lot of people could see this coming, that Daniel Bryan was going to wrestle on this card against Heavy Machinery. You know it was going to happen. The problem is, I think, is that the match is still not compelling enough to get people to want to go see this because it's kind of a joke.
There's been no build.
Well, just Heavy Machinery.
Heavy Machinery is a joke.
It's not a great, credible challenge. I mean, if it was the Usos, who have beaten Bryan and Rowan in the past, then that's a bigger matchup.
Yeah. Daniel Bryan talked about Heavy Machinery and said, you know, Otis is like a legit wrestler. He was an Olympic wrestler. Almost made an Olympic team, like really high level, and he put over the other guy too, who's got good amateur wrestling credentials. And he's like, but look at them. They're showboating. They're joking around. They're not serious.
Right.
But, you know, that's kind of part of professional wrestling. You know, you're a serious guy, and then you know. But Daniel Bryan I thought Daniel Bryan was really funny, too. He's like, these guys, they're paying homage to the Bushwhackers, like they do the Bushwhacker kind of taunt. And he's like, they shouldn't be paying homage to the Bushwhackers. They're a disgrace. They should be paying homage to the Sheep Herders, if anything. Which is great because it's the same tag team. It's just the name they had before they were in WWE, WWF. The
Right.
Bushwhackers were actually a very serious tag team as the Sheep Herders. And then when they brought them into WWF, as Daniel Bryan mentioned on commentary, they were never WWF Tag Team Champions, and they were also kind of a joke. Still, though, one of my favorite tag teams of all time. I love the Bushwhackers.
Well, they got a lot of TV time. They were maybe never champions, but they were probably one of the most exposed tag teams in all of WWE at that point.
Yes. Tag team wrestling. It's important. And Daniel Bryan and Rowan, they're trying to shine a light on tag team wrestling. I think Heavy Machinery are a very good tag team, but I don't think they're established enough to beat a guy like Daniel Bryan right now. Not on this run. I believe in tag team wrestling. You look around the wrestling world. I watched the Lucha Brothers and the Young Bucks in AAA in a Mexican wrestling match last week. Okay, the Young Bucks went to AAA. They had a big show. I watched it live just to see the tag team match, just to see tag team wrestling.
Well, that's a phenomenal match.
Because tag team wrestling, if done right, if featured, can be very, very compelling. The New Day has proven that. The Usos have proven that. Many different tag teams in the WWE. Hell, Rowan and Harper have proven that.
Bludgeon Brothers.
The Bludgeon Brothers. But even when they were Rowan and Harper in the Wyatt family, they had matches with the Usos that were tremendous. So let's not discount Rowan. I know everybody's focused on Daniel Bryan, but Rowan is a good tag team wrestler.
He's got experience, yeah.
There are good tag teams out there. And if the WWE were to focus on them, they could make some money. But, you know, they just throw them in these matches and nothing really matters, and who cares? Like, look at the Revival. They're the backup to Drew and Shane. Like, they're there, but they're kind of like the jabronis with them. They're the Raw Tag Team Champions, and they're hanging out with Drew and Shane, but it's really all about, like, Drew and Shane. Like, Drew is the guy who's facing Roman, and Shane is, like, the evil boss, and the Revival, they're kind of the henchmen. They're the guys that Roman punches on the way to the ring and disposes of real quick. You know, it's like, let's put it in Ninja Turtles, in a Ninja Turtle analogy, okay? Shane is Krang, okay?
All right.
Drew is Shredder.
I see that, yeah.
The Revival are the Foot Soldiers. And Roman Reigns is all of the Ninja Turtles in one. And he's just beating up the Foot Soldiers, and then he's going to beat up Shredder, but Krang, Krang will get away. Maybe eventually he'll get his hands on Krang, although Krang's got that big, like, robot suit, so he's always tough.
I feel the Revival are more Bebop and Rocksteady.
Sure, they're jabronis either way. They're on a lower tier, and they're supposed to be the Raw Tag Team Champions. Like, they're not as important as Drew McIntyre, who's really not that compelling. His promos are weird. They're, like, too intense for the room.
Right.
Like, Shane's all jokey, the Revival, they're kind of a joke, and then Drew's like, I'm going to kill you. I'm going to make your face different for your children. And I'm like, what the hell are you talking about? What is going on there, Drew? Settle down. Even Shane's like, man, you're an intense dude. You're really intense, Drew. Man, it's crazy.
Well, he's selling the psychopath gimmick, so it's good.
It's not that good, okay? And the Revival don't look good as being the kind of jabroni tag team to help Shane and Drew. Like, they're not featured. They're not used. Daniel Bryan and Rowan, at least there, Daniel Bryan is a legitimate star, and his presence in the tag team division elevates the tag team titles and the division as a whole. Like, if it wasn't Daniel Bryan and Rowan against Heavy Machinery, what would it be?
It'd be probably like Heavy Machinery against, like, the B Team, like you saw.
Yeah, the B Team would be the tag team champions.
They were.
I know. And up until very recently, Ryder and Hawkins were the Raw tag team champions. That's what I'm saying. The tag team titles, the tag team champions, first of all, should be unified. Second of all, aren't respected. And you see me right now, if you're watching this show, you see me wearing my Legion of Doom t-shirt, the Road Warriors, Hawk and Animal, because I love tag team wrestling, and these guys are my favorite tag team of all time. And when they were running things, when they were the tag team champions, tag team wrestling actually meant something. You had a bunch of tag teams that weren't just two guys put together because we got nothing else for them. It was the Nasty Boys. It was the Legion of Doom. It was the British Bulldogs. It was the Killer Bees. It was the Hart Foundation. It was the Rockers. It was two guys that dress the same, that look similar, that fit together, that made sense as a tag team.
But it's changed, though. Wrestling has changed, where I feel you can't put focus on long matches, and you need to have good tag matches to be long. And they don't have that luxury anymore.
Well, they have enough TV time. Like, you could make Raw the tag team show where you have a lot of tag team wrestling on it and you build a division there. You unify the titles, you make Raw tag team heavy, and you build from there. It's not hard. It's not hard to do. Instead of giving us, like, teases of Paul Heyman coming out, cutting a promo saying, maybe Brock, maybe not, maybe Brock, maybe not. How about focus on the tag team division a little bit? How about you bring back the Authors of Pain? They're clearly ready to wrestle. They were at the Super Showdown, and we haven't seen them since. They're one of your top tag teams. We haven't seen them. Whatever happened to the Ascension? Do they still exist? I thought Fandango was ready to go. How come you haven't brought back the Fashion Police?
They're in NXT.
Why'd you ever break up Darren Young and Titus O'Neil?
Well, Darren Young's not with the company anymore.
I know, but, like, they were a good tag team. Why were Harper and Rowan ever broken up? Like, those guys could still be a good tag team. And Harper's just sitting at home.
Well, he's just running out his contract right now. He wanted his release. So.
Yeah, he wanted his release, and they wouldn't give it to him.
They're going to make him pay.
It's another story. So the Iconics beat Alexa Bliss and Nikki Cross. They actually showed up this week.
Yep.
They had a match. Bayley was ringside. Alexa pushed Bayley, and then Bayley pushed her back, which distracted Nikki Cross, and she got rolled up. So Nikki Cross is now really mad at Bayley because she feels that Bayley cost her the tag team titles. And then we had a promo between Alexa and Nikki and Bayley. Alexa wanted her coffee. Bayley showed up, and she's drinking her coffee. And then Bayley tells Nikki Cross, like, Alexa's not really your friend. She's just using you. And Nikki's like, is she? I don't know. It's like, come on, Nikki. How stupid are you? Like, really? And then Alexa's like, Bayley, you made me feel like I didn't belong in NXT, and you peaked in NXT, and you're just mad at me now because I'm having the career that you wish you had. And Bayley's like, and then she just attacks Alexa. Like, she's got no answer for it. She's kind of like, Alexa hit her with a big shot, and then Bayley has no answer other than to attack, which, like, doesn't make Bayley look great. And then Nikki Cross pulls Bayley off of Alexa, and then Alexa attacks Bayley, and then her and Nikki leave. And, you know, it was a decent promo by Alexa. Bayley really had nothing to say. It didn't make Bayley look very good and all of that. Maybe Bayley looks good in the match and beats Alexa Bliss. I think she does, mostly because, like, if Alexa was on SmackDown, I would think Alexa would win here. But because Alexa's technically on Raw, even though the promo I just talked about happened on SmackDown, because she's on both shows now too.
Right.
I think Alexa's going to lose because she's on Raw, and this is for the SmackDown title. I think. But if she were on SmackDown, I think I would be picking her to win, because, like, it seems like it's going in that direction. And if she does win, I wouldn't be that shocked, even though it doesn't really make sense. But, like, with the wild card rule, who cares?
I think this one is.
Kofi said, like, I'm champion. That means I can go wherever I want, whenever I want. Maybe that's how it works. Like, Alexa's on Raw, but, like, if she wins a SmackDown title, well, she could be on SmackDown too because she's a SmackDown champion, and she could show up on Raw too because she's there. Like, maybe it's just a way to double book Alexa. That's what they want.
This one's really hard to call.
It is.
Because there's history too with them as well. Remember, Bayley was the Raw Women's Champion, and Alexa took it from Bayley in the past. Is this just history repeating itself again? Alexa rarely loses. The fact that she would lose this kind of match, I'd be surprised. However, this is Bayley's, I believe, first defense of the championship. So is she just going to lose? Against Alexa, I wouldn't be surprised because she's booked that strong. But, wow, you're really kind of burying Bayley before she even has a chance to be the champion.
I think she's going to win.
She should win, but I wouldn't be surprised if Alexa wins.
I think Nikki Cross is so mad at Bayley that she's going to do something to try and stop Bayley from hurting Alexa, but it's going to backfire. Alexa's going to get hit or distracted or whatever, and then Bayley's going to win. And then Alexa will attack Nikki and reveal her true colors, not really Nikki's friend, just trying to use her to win the title. And when that backfires on her, she'll attack because Alexa's just a jerk. Like Bayley said, you know, Alexa turned her back on Nia Jax and on Mickie James. What makes you think she won't turn her back on you? And Nikki Cross was like, I don't know. Maybe. I don't know. Nikki Cross. Making her look great, too. Super smart. So I think Bayley wins.
Yeah, I think so, too. But, again, I wouldn't be surprised if Bliss wins this because she always wins.
Heavy Machinery don't win, right?
No.
They better not.
Wow, that's really bad if they win.
Does Brian make one of them tap to the yes lock, or does Rowan grab, like, Tucker with the face palm choke slam?
Yeah, I like that better. It's good.
That makes sense, right?
Yeah.
It's good to put that finish over, you're saying. Yeah.
Yeah.
I agree with you. I think Brian and Rowan win. All right, Johnny North, I think we've ran through pretty much all of this card. Wait. Becky Lynch and Lacey Evans. We got to get to that.
I knew you were going to get to that, yeah.
We have to get there, John. They had a promo on Raw this week. What'd you think?
It felt like the same old, pretty much.
Yep. Not much there. Really not much there.
I really feel like they're going to give the title to Lacey.
No, come on.
I know it's going to shock a lot of people, but that's why they would do it. I mean, you've been going on this for so long. Why not? And maybe it would help Becky in a sense that she lost everything and now she's got to start from scratch.
Oh, boy. I don't know. Maybe. I don't think it's going to happen, though. I think Becky beats her. I thought the promo was just kind of nothing. Becky beats Lacey. I've not been impressed by Lacey. In the ring, on the mic. Like, okay, she can talk, but, like, she's not saying much. She was a Marine. She's a lady. She wears a dress. I love how she's like, I'm a lady. And then she like lifts her skirt. Like she's always doing that. She's like, I'm a lady. Look at my underwear. I'm like, that's not a classy lady thing to do. What is this strange lady gimmick you're doing? Is that what Dana Warrior told you to do? She's like, okay, classy ladies flash the audience. That's what they do. I don't know why I'm doing like a Michael Jackson impression here. I'm trying to do like a woman voice, but it's just like, hey, it's me, Michael. You know, it doesn't work out.
It's fun, though.
Yeah, it's fun. I'm glad you're enjoying yourself on the show, John. So, yeah, Lacey and Becky. I think Becky wins. You think Lacey takes the title?
I think it's going to be a shocker, but yeah.
Okay. How about Roman and Drew? Does Shane help Drew beat Roman, or do we see a repeat of Mania where Roman hits him with a spear and gets the pin? I think Roman wins here because he's the big dog and it's Roman. Let's go Roman.
Well, Roman's also coming off a loss at Super Showdown.
To Shane.
Exactly. I don't think Roman loses again.
Well, maybe he does and Shane costs him the match and like this happens until Roman gets the rematch on Shane and then he beats him and then things turn around.
No, I think he'll get the rematch on Shane because he got the win on McIntyre.
But like, what's the point? What's the point in having Roman beat Drew again? Like, why are we doing this match? Roman just beat him a couple months ago. What are we doing this again for?
Because it's Roman Reigns. He's got to be on the pay-per-view.
Wouldn't a rematch with Shane make more sense, though?
That's later or down the road kind of thing.
It's a SummerSlam
You're building
thing.
towards that.
Okay, fine. So Roman just beats Drew in this nothing match despite Shane's interference?
Well, that's it. Maybe it'll end in a DQ or something, and then they'll have an Extreme Rules match.
Well, maybe Shane will try and help Drew, but Miz will help Roman. Because Miz and Roman have been kind of buddy-buddy lately. And Miz isn't booked, so, right?
Okay, sure. It's
And
not great either way, but all right.
This will lead to the big tag team match that we're all looking forward to. Miz and Roman versus Drew and Shane. WWE Extreme Rules.
Maybe Drew and Elias, but yeah.
I think Drew and Shane makes more sense. That's pay-per-view. Drew and Elias is on TV. Right? Raw,
right.
You get Miz and Roman against Drew and Elias. Pay-per-view, Extreme Rules, Miz and Roman against Drew and Shane. I think that's where we're headed. Unfortunately.
More Shane, that's what we're getting.
Oh, we're definitely getting more Shane. Shane's going to keep on wrestling. We got tons of Shane this week.
But he's not wrestling the pay-per-view, though.
Which is nice, but he's like still dominating both shows. He's on both shows constantly. All right, so we've got winners here. We've got losers. Is there any other match that we haven't predicted or got to here, Johnny North? I don't think so, right? Maybe the triple threat. Do you think Tony Nese drops his cruiserweight title to Tozawa or Gulak?
Not yet, no.
I don't think so either.
Nese looked really good the last pay-per-view.
Yeah, he's a very good wrestler. He's got some great moves. He looks like $1 million. He's in great shape. The guy is a very good athlete. And probably wasted in 205 Live because, like I said, very few people are watching that show. People don't really get to see Tony Nese. And finally, just a couple of notes here. Ember Moon still mad that Mandy and Sonya broke her Nintendo Switch last week. I was mad too. Like, Ember Moon, okay?
Oh, boy.
Ember Moon is backstage. She's standing there with her Nintendo Switch, which I recognize because I have one too.
Of course.
So she's standing there playing Switch, and Mandy or Sonya, I forget which one, like smacks the Switch to the ground, and you hear it go. I'm like, oh no! Like, you broke that thing. You can't just smash a Switch on the ground. That was a real Switch. I hope somebody had a broken Nintendo Switch that they used just for that, and they didn't just use a Switch for the segment to break it, because, like, man, that is not cool. I'll tell you, I felt that segment. I was like, no, Mandy and Sonya, like, when Ember was like, rah! Like, when she was really mad afterwards,
right.
I would do the same thing. Somebody smacks my Nintendo Switch out of my hands, and it drops to the floor, and it breaks. I go, rah! And I maybe attack you with a baseball bat wrapped in barbed wire the next time I see you. Like, man, Mandy and Sonya are lucky Ember Moon didn't come carrying weapons because, yeah, she should have because she got beat up on SmackDown when she tried to, she tried to get revenge, but Mandy and Sonya just beat her up. So, man, I felt for Ember Moon when her Nintendo Switch got broken. I couldn't imagine that happening to me. I'd be so sad. Drake Maverick became the 24/7 champion. He beat R-Truth on SmackDown in the parking lot, dressed like Carmella. It was pretty funny because R-Truth thought Carmella had beat him for the title. Even after it was all over, he was confused, but he figured it out because Drake Maverick got married, like for real, and then R-Truth showed up at the wedding, and after he got married, Truth rolled him up and regained the 24/7 title. So R-Truth, the championship back where it belongs with Ron Killings, 24/7 champion.
Let's just keep this going because, in my opinion, this is the best stuff we're seeing right now on WWE TV.
Compared to the Drew Revival and Shane show, yeah, for sure, way better. We're watching Baron Corbin and Seth Rollins in the main event. Like, of course R-Truth is better. Doesn't mean it's good. You have to watch Bray Wyatt and his Firefly Funhouse. You think that was good?
You think he's going to debut at the pay-per-view?
Maybe. He should challenge Aleister Black. Like I keep saying, Aleister Black keeps doing these backstage promos. He's like, I understand no one wants to pick a fight with me. Somebody's going to have to come and find me and pick a fight. I'm not going to go challenge somebody. Well, okay. Bray Wyatt, like, they're doing the same thing. One's doing it on one show, one's doing it on the other. I guess Bray's on both, but whatever. Right. Like, they're doing the same thing. Fight. Fight it out. Figure it out. Like, that's what I would do, because what else are they going to do? So Bray Wyatt has another Firefly Funhouse this week, and it was weird. Bray was watering plants, and he says that people lie to you. He says they all tell you lies. He says they told you that the earth was round and dinosaurs are extinct.
Oh, boy. Here we go.
What? Does Bray think there's dinosaurs walking the earth?
Oh, I thought we were going to get mad about the flat earth.
Well, yeah, obviously. Does Bray think the earth is flat? Is Bray Wyatt a flat earther? And is that part of his mission statement for the Firefly Funhouse? What? What was that? That was bizarre. I think the real Bray Wyatt, like the real guy, the real Bo Rotunda or whatever his name is.
I believe it's Rotunda. I don't know if it's Bo.
Isn't Bo his brother?
Yeah.
Bray Wyatt's real name is Wyndham. Wyndham Rotunda. Yeah.
Nice.
Wyndham, named after, of course, Barry Windham. So I think like he's a big conspiracy guy, him and his brother. I've heard them talk about it. So I wouldn't be surprised if the real Wyndham Rotunda actually thought that the earth was flat. And like judging on his like promos and how dumb they are, like I believe that he's dumb enough to believe that. So yeah, stupid Wyndham.
I knew the second he said that, I'm like, wow, David's going to have a field day with this.
Well, it's like, are you kidding me? Him and AJ Styles. I mean, I wonder how many WWE superstars believe the earth is flat. And I wonder how many times Daniel Bryan mocks them for it each and every day.
And remember, these guys go on world tours, like global tours, and they still believe this stuff. It's amazing.
Look out the window next time you're in a plane, Bray Wyatt, you dummy. Are you kidding me? And dinosaurs aren't extinct? I hope this is the Bray Wyatt character, not really Wyndham Rotunda, but I don't know.
Oh, dinosaurs? Well, cloning, right? I mean, it could make it possible.
Okay, John. You think Jurassic Park is a documentary?
The future ones. You got to wait for them.
Okay. We're going to wrap up this Stomping Grounds preview. We're going to wrap up Wrestling Uncensored before Johnny North makes himself sound like a Bray Wyatt type. Johnny North, when can people see you either in the ring or at the Firefly Funhouse?
Well, it'd be cool with the Firefly Funhouse. It'd be a great puppet, I think. July 6th at Parc Jean Drapeau.
Parc Jean Drapeau in Montreal.
Yep.
For what? A big festival, right?
It's a Mexican festival, and they're going to have wrestling at this festival.
Nice. Lucha.
At 6 p.m.
Excellent.
July 6th.
So Saturday, July 6th at Parc Jean Drapeau, which is a big, big venue. Massive.
I guess.
You could be wrestling in front of thousands of people. You don't know, right?
You never know.
Could be massive. Parc Jean Drapeau, July 6th in Montreal. Catch Johnny North for more on that. Follow him on Instagram. You could follow him on Twitter at North Genesis. Follow him on Instagram at Genesis Johnny North. You could follow me on Twitter and Instagram at Dave Simon MMA. Be sure to check out our website at WrestlingUncensored.net and go to the YouTube channel. Subscribe, like the video, comment on the video, and click that little bell when you do subscribe so you get the notifications enabled. That means every time we go live, every time we have a new show on the channel, you'll get a little notification so you know, hey, I can join the show. I can jump in. We read your comments on Dave and Johnny Live, and we also read your comments and interact with you on the YouTube post shows. These are YouTube exclusive. Right after Stomping Grounds, I will be here on the YouTube channel talking to you, breaking down Stomping Grounds, seeing if Johnny and I were right with our predictions, and reading your comments as well. That's right after Stomping Grounds goes off the air Sunday night. I will be at the YouTube channel, youtube.com/ringsidereport.net, youtube.com/ringsidereport.net.
And for Wrestling Uncensored, people can leave a comment.
Yes, you can leave a comment on Wrestling Uncensored. Do you agree with our Stomping Grounds predictions? Do you disagree? Leave a comment. You can watch this show on the YouTube channel as well as Ringside Report Radio, Dave and Johnny Live. So many shows on the YouTube channel. Go check us out online at youtube.com/ringsidereport.net, where I'll be after the Stomping Grounds. A big thanks to you for listening and watching, and a big thanks to the big man, Johnny North.
What about Marco and Jimmy?
Oh, yeah. Big thanks to Marco and Jimmy for helping us out as well. For Johnny North, I am Dave Simon, and this has been Wrestling Uncensored. Yeah? Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.